Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you. I had been, yesterday I spoke to certain aspects relating to male female relation, where I mentioned that each individual is inflicted by loneliness, and as a result of that, many thoughts and these things arise in individual. They gain strength during the night. These, I took the example from the Hindu scripture Ramayana, where Taraka, the demoness, symbolizes loneliness and all the attendant perverse acts one may engage in. One is by oneself and lonely. These things gain strength as the night approaches. Perversities increase as one gets lonelier. Someone has raised the question, yes, it happens. I am experiencing this as I am alone by myself. The world is lonely. Then these thoughts arise, and if you try to suppress them, they become stronger. I did not mean by suppressing. When I said you have to subdue, that means in meditative terms, you have to be a witness to these, that these are there, and in that becoming very aware of it, those thoughts, those perversities start losing their strength and energy. And the moment you keep on watching, they become less effective. It is like this: you come to a place, to a strange place, the dog sees you and it starts barking. Dog continues to bark and trying to gauge you. Are you really afraid? Then he makes the move towards you and chases you. But if you remain standing firm and continue to look into the eyes, look towards the dog, after a while the dog begins to, his barking starts getting less. The moment there is fear in you, in the body, amino acid is released, dog smells it and barks at you more and chases you even. The moment you remain firm, that shows that you are not afraid, and in that there is no release of amino acid, and dog is not smelling that, it becomes aware. Then it starts wagging the tail. Something like this. When these perversities or various thoughts arise in you, you just keep on watching these, that these thoughts are there, they do not belong to you, they are infiltrators, and you do not allow them to enter into your consciousness, then their negative effects will not be there. Instead, they will give you their strength and energy and will disappear. Just as the dog stops barking and begins to wag the tail. So this is the perverse desire. You have to observe it as soon as the dawn appears, otherwise they will start gaining more and more strength. I will go into this morning into another dimension of it. Another dimension of it, which is inner man and inner woman. This comes from Master Luzu's Secret of the Golden Flower, wherein he talks about anima and animus, the masculine and the feminine energy. This, according to Hindu aspects, it refers to Shiva and Shakti. I gave an analogy. When you are constructing your house, the house is finished, the basic structure is ready. Before you move in, the electric connection has to be there. So first of all, according to the plan, the inner wiring is done inside the house. It is connected to the main junction box, and junction box is connected to the outside, the supply from outside, because the positive current comes from outside. That is the source of energy, it comes from outside. The negative or the cold pole comes from within, which is the feminine aspect, and the electric current that comes from outside is the masculine energy. When these two interact with one another, there is in a particular way, then there is the two begin to exhibit their effects. So when the electric current passes through the air conditioner, it gives you cold air, so on and so forth. When these two energies are harmonized and manifest through your intelligence, there is a different quality. When it reflects through your emotional being, there is a different kind of emotions flowing out of you. When it interacts through the mind, the thoughts that arise out of you are not distorted. Instead, they are sublime thoughts. So you have been, and through meditation you have been able to harness this energy to move in a particular way. So along this line, I will speak on anima animus, or the inner man and woman. Each individual carries within these two aspects, anima and animus. One comes as energy from outside source, and other, when it comes in within your innerness, it interacts with the element, with that aspect which is available within. The process is completed. The two energies in that process neutralize one another for you to attain transcendence beyond biology If one remains dominant, masculine energy or the feminine energy, then you remain within the four walls of the biology. Biology means perverse desires, thoughts, and acts like these. The moment the two neutralize one another, let's say this, you want to turn on the light. The electric current passes through the terminals in the electric bulb. The positive current comes in, the negative is provided in-house, the two neutralize one another, and there is illumination. If there is fluctuation and the positive current is too much, the bulb blows. You fail to have the illumination. So sometimes this state of fluctuations can be understood as emotional disturbances or outside influence, or sometimes this influence is generated within your biology. These are the perversions. You have to be aware that something, a particular incident happened. Because of that, these thoughts are continuously arising in you and creating an emotional upheaval or disturbance. You have to observe this, know its cause, and it begins to disappear. So, if there is the two energies neutralize one another, then there is, you transcend beyond the biology, because these perversities, these thoughts arise because of the biology and in the biology. But beyond, the moment it is neutralized, these thoughts give you illumination. And you transcend beyond the biology. The purpose of the marriage, the male-female relation, or connection at the physical level, is to neutralize the energy and transcend and take you beyond the biology. The moment it begins to happen, you enter into the spiritual dimension of male-female relation. There is no emotional disturbance. Instead, there is harmonizing. So, this anima, animus, or Shiva and Shakti, balancing these two aspects is an important aspect. Human body comes into existence as an interaction between ovum and sperm. Sperm is the masculine energy which comes from outside, and ovum is the feminine energy, the male and the female energy. With the interaction of the two energies, body, mind realm manifests. This is not on your part. Your parents interact at the level of the biology, and as an interaction, body is formed. Now you need to interact at the level of the biology consciously and meditatively to attain to transcendence. Through sex, your body was born one day, and through sex alone, one day, you can go beyond the biology and emotions as well. You understand their nature. When for the male-female relation to attain fruition, sex is an important, never to be neglected aspect. However, there are dimensions beyond the known, the sex, that can never be overlooked. But fruition can happen only when you understand the essence of your biological energy, and with the understanding, one day fruition happens. For this, the secret of the golden flower is one of the many requirements, just as the male-female relation as enunciated in Vigyan Bhairav Tantra between a dialogue, a meditative dialogue, or communion between Shiva and Shakti. Master Lusu said, that which exists through itself is known as the way or Tao. Tao has neither name or shape. It is the one essence of the primal spirit. Essence and life cannot be seen. They are contained in the light of heaven. The light of heaven cannot be seen. It is contained in two eyes. The Great One is the term given to that which has nothing above it. The secret of the magic of life consists in using action in order to attain the state of non-action. This is from when you begin to see inaction in action. How does it happen? You are going to start your car, you tumble the key, there is an action. You press the accelerator, this is an effort. A moment comes in, then the process becomes natural and spontaneous. The vehicle begins to gain momentum, and effortlessly it begins to move. This is the state of non-action. The golden flower represents light. One uses this golden flower is used as a symbol for light. The phrase, the work on the circulation of light depends entirely on the backward flowing movement. So the thoughts are gathered together. The heavenly heart lies between the sun and the moon. In the square inch field of So when the light begins to circulate, the energy of the whole body appears before the throne, as when a holy king has established a kingdom and has laid down the fundamental rules of the order, all the states approach with tribute, or as when the master is quiet and calm, men, servants and maid obeys the order of their own accord, and each does their work. A certain policy is laid down, and everything begins to happen according to that. So you have to make the light circulate. That is the deepest and the most wonderful aspect, a secret. The light is easy to move, but difficult to fix. It is, if it is made to circulate long enough, then it begins to crystallize itself. It is the condition of which it is said silently, thou fillest upward in the morning. In carrying out this fundamental principle, you need to seek no other method, but must only concentrate on your thoughts on it. By collecting the thoughts, one can fly and will be born in heaven. I have heard a parable. This can help to understand this somewhat more. Once there was a rich magician who had many sheep, but at the same time, this magician was very mean. He did not want to hire a shepherd, nor did he want to erect a fence around the pastures where the sheep were grazing. The sheep consequently often wander into the forest and fell in the ravines, and so on and so forth. And above all, sometimes they run away, for they knew that the magician wanted their flesh and skins, and this they did not like. At last, this worried the magician, but he was a mean miser. So at last the magician found a remedy. He hypnotized the sheep and suggested to them that first of all they were immortal and that no harm was being done to them when they were skinned, and on the contrary, it would be very good for them and even pleasant. So he hypnotized them. Secondly, he suggested that magician was a good master who loved his flock so much that he was ready to do anything in the world for them. And in the third place, he suggested to them, if anything at all were going to happen to them, it was going to happen just then, and at any rate, not that day. And therefore, they had no need to think about it. Further, the magician suggested to his sheep, they were not sheep. To some of them he suggested they were lions, to the others they were eagles, to others they said they were men, and to others he suggested they were magicians. And after this, all he cares and worries about the sheep. After that, the sheep never ran away, but quietly awaited the time when the magician will require their flesh and their skins. George Gurdjieff had loved this parable very much. His whole philosophy is contained in this small parable, and this parable represents man in the ordinary state of consciousness or ordinary state of unconsciousness. It is one of the most beautiful illustrations of man as he is. He is in a state of unconsciousness. He is like a machine. He is not born to be a machine, but he continues to live mechanically like a machine and dies like a machine. Man has the seed of a great flowering of consciousness. He has the potentiality, the possibility of becoming awakened, becoming God, but this is a possibility. Just as every seed has a possibility to blossom into a flower and bring many fruits, but it does not happen because man has been hypnotized by the society, by the state, by the organized churches and vested interests. The society needs slaves, and man can remain a slave only if he is not allowed to grow to his total potentiality. The society needs your flesh, they need your skin, and naturally nobody likes it. Hence, the whole process of socialization, civilization is nothing but a process of deep hypnosis. Man is being hypnotized from the moment he is born. He is being hypnotized to believe that the society exists in his favor, for his good. That is utterly wrong. He is being hypnotized to believe that he is immortal. Yes, there is seed of immortality in him, but he has to explore it. He is believed that he is immortal. He is not yet. This does not mean he is not capable of. He has to discover that which is immortal within him. There is body, there is thoughts. Body undergoes the process. The thought arises like a wave on the surface of the ocean. The ocean is important from the wave. Wave comes and goes. The thoughts come and go. Emotions arise and fall. Emotion is not important, but we give so much importance to thoughts and emotion. This is what is kind of a hypnosis. You are oceanic, and it is on the surface of the ocean because of certain movements that waves arise. On the surface of your innerness, thoughts arise. He is not yet immortal. He has to discover that which is immortal within you. You have to discover that current, that ocean, that you are oceanic. You are ocean on the surface of which waves arise. He can be, but he is not yet. And if hypnosis persists, he will never be able to discover that which is immortal, that which never dies and never born. There is something which is never born, never dies. It is the life in you. You live only as a mortal being because you live in the body, you live in your thoughts, you live in your emotions, you are guided by that. The body is going to die one day. That which is born to die. But before that stage comes in, you discover that which is never born, never dies. Birth is the beginning of the body and death is the end. Do you know anything in you which is more than the body? Have you ever experienced anything higher than the body or deeper than the body? Have you seen anything in you that were even before you was born, and that will be even after the body is no more? If you have seen that, then you know that you are immortal. If you know this is what according to scripture is called the original face. These Chinese mystics, they talk about, or the Buddhist, Tao, and Buddhism speaks about, have you discovered your original face? Not the mask, that I am so and so, I am this, I am that. These are the mask faces that make you, but you are not that. If you know your real face, or what Raman used to tell his disciples, go within. You are this and you are that. I have heard a video of one of the person who is considered in the spiritual circles as a great writer and so many other things. When he introduces himself in the video, he says, I am Dr. So and so. Is doctor your name? Doctor is a qualification that you have attained, but it is not your name. Even your name is there for identification. It would have been better to say that I am known by this name. No name can explain to you. It is that I am identified as so and so. Then one day you will discover your original face, and you will discover, you will know the face that was there before you was born, and that too when the body is no more. Man can be immortal, one, however he lives surrounded by death because of his identification with the body. The more you identify with the body, the more you are in a state of mortality. The society does not allow you to know anything beyond the body, because just as sheep, the magician has his vested interest in this sheep, so too society is interested only in your body. Body can be put to use, however your soul is dangerous. And once you have experienced that which is immortal, that which is never born, never dies, you move differently. A man of soul is dangerous because he is a free man. He cannot be reduced to slavery. He may be apparently involved in something, but deep within he is not involved in it. He is not in it. It is only on the surface. He cannot be reduced to slavery. A man who has an immortal soul in him has a deeper commitment to existence itself. He does not care a bit about the so-called man-made structure of the society, civilization, and culture. These are prison cells for man. He does not exist as a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim. He cannot be part of the crowd. He exists as an individual. Your body is a part of the crowd. Your soul is not. Your being is not. The soul is deeply individual. Its flavor is that of freedom, harmony, oneness with the existence. And sometimes in certain moments, you feel this closeness with the environment around, with the surroundings, the plants, the rivers, the mountains. But it does not. It comes like a fleeting glance. But your soul cannot be put to any use in the marketplace. Society needs only your body and that which is mortal. And it is very dangerous for society if you start striving for the soul, because then your interest changes. You turn from outer to the inner dimension of life. The society exists outside you. It wants you to remain extrovert, interested in money, power, prestige, and all that is related to that, so that your energy goes on moving outwards. If you start moving inwards, that means you have become a dropout for the society or for the outside worlds. You are no more part of the game that is being played on the outside. You do not belong to it. You start diving deep within your own being, and that is the only source of immortality. The moment you start going deep within, trying to discover your original face, you are moving towards the source of immortality, and once you have started that process, it will begin. But society will prevent you from going inwards, and the best way is to give you a false idea, to hypnotize you that you are going inwards. The magician told the sheep that they were lions, suggested to them that they were immortals, hypnotized them into believing that they were not only men but great magicians. This is what goes on happening. You have to understand this and allow not to be affected by this. This process, this series of talks, I will continue to share these insights, I will continue to share with you. And until a process is initiated in you and you begin to move into a different dimension of your life, only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, until next time when we meet, take care and do